everyone, this is Amy. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a floral design painted on this stone. The one thing neat about this stone is that it actually can stand, so that when I paint a design on the front of it, you can actually place it on a shelf or a table, any place that you want, because it'll actually stand up so you can see it instead of having to hang it or lay it down flat, that type of thing. It actually gives some height to it, and you can use it as an awesome home decor piece. The pieces I'm using today to paint with are two Amagic flat brushes, a number 6 and a number 10. I'm also going to be using an Amagic number 2 round brush and a number 8 Deerfoot stippler. The paints I'm using today are all FolkArt paints, a combination of enamels and multi-surface. I'm using School Bus Yellow, Yellow Ochre, Tea Berry, which I really like, Wicker White, Pale Yellow, Thicket, and Forest Moss. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. I am going to begin with the number 10 brush. I'm going to try to get my plate up here so you can see at least a little bit. Now I'm thinking about possibly wrapping my design around here, because when you lay it, see, like when you're looking at this, you can actually see part of the side. This side not so much, so I'm not worried about that, but maybe make it on both. We'll see. I'm going to work with the front side first and then go from there with it. Alright, never painted on this type of stone, so bear with me. This is a new experience for me. I'm going to dip one side into the Wicker White, one side into the Tea Berry. You can actually do it down here where you just go over here and do your blending strokes. The main thing is to get some good amount of paint into your brush. At least 3/4 of the bristles should be covered with paint. Now the brushes I use, I'm going to put links down into my video or below my video if you want to buy them. That's up to you, but I just want to put them there so you at least can see what it is I'm using and check them out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with doing, the first thing is going to be just a couple little buds, and I am just going to wiggle. Now this is not a flat surface, so I just have to adjust for that, because it is not, there's a lot of ridges in it. Alright, so then I'm going to go back over these, and I'm just doing just a real gentle little pull and wiggle, kind of to the center of it, and then just pulling it up and back down. And then I'm going to come down here and start, well, I take that back. I'm going to just a smidge, and I'm going to come over here and do, just want to make sure I'm doing this the right direction here, do a partial, I want it like that, a partial flower. It's not going to be completely open. And see, this is where I have to adjust for the little indentations that I might see here. I'm going to go over it again, make sure I get good coverage, because there is like little holes. Welcome to the world of painting on stone, right? I come down here and do the same thing, pull it back over there. When you're painting on stone, if you feel like you're not getting good enough coverage, give it some dry time and go back over it. That's perfectly fine. Now before I move on, because I want to put a little inside where you can see a little bit of the center of the flower peeking out. So I'm going to go ahead and tap that in right now, just very quickly, at least the beginning of it. And I am just stomping on here some white. It's not going to be a real, I don't want to say a real precise center because I'm actually going to do some other painting on it. Then I'm going to, I like to do this, I'm going to reverse my petal colors and come back up in here like that. I just feel like it gives it just a little bit more interest when you do that, when you do kind of move it around. You could do the tea berry at the top if you want. You don't have to do it this way. It's just my preference. Alright, and then I'm going to come here and start doing the open one. Again, I can see where I have some little spots that I just gotta fill in as I go. And that's fine. I mean, it's to be expected. You're painting on stone. It's a natural element. So it's not going to be completely flat. And that's okay. Might even give some interesting looking petals, right? And you can come this way and pull. I can go over it again. Now my sample paper, because I always do my samples on paper before I paint it, I did not do it this way. That's what I'm going to do here now. I am going to flip and do some lighter at the bottom here. And again, I'm going to go over this just to make sure I get all those little indentations filled in. And come back and do it again. You just always, depending on what surface you're working on, you may have to make adjustments to how you're doing your strokes and how you do the coverage. But that's okay. You'll learn as you're painting on surfaces, and then you also, the more experience you get, you'll figure it out. Alright, and then I'm going to do this one. Make sure I turn my brush the right way. Now if you wanted to do it the reverse and have the lighter at the top, you could do that as well. It's up to you. I mean, if you want to do it based on light source, also, try to figure out where your light source would be coming from and do it, or if you want to just do it the same color all the way around. Again, definitely up to you. If you feel like you're getting way too much paint in your brush, feel free to knock some of that off. I like to just have an extra paper towel with me, and I can take care of it right there. Okay, so I'm going to just come like this. That's my partial bud. And if I feel like over here, maybe I need to put a little bit more down. There you go. Alright, so going back to the center, I'm going to put my center in here. Go like that. Now wet on wet, you can pull up the color underneath too. Hit it with a heat gun, hair dryer if you don't like it to do that. I don't, it doesn't bother me, I don't mind it. So I am going with it. I'm going to stomp some white in the center. Might even hit some more white there. I can come back over it with the yellow ochre, because I just want it to be kind of a mixture of the two paints. And again, sometimes it works better. Now here my furnace is kicking up, so I apologize. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is take my little number 2 round brush. I'm going to stick it into the moon yellow, or it's not moon yellow, school bus yellow. And I'm just going to go around and just do little pulls every so often around it with the yellow ochre. just real gently. If you're new to my channel, please understand that my designs are meant to be for beginners. I want them to be simple so that it encourages people to be creative and not be afraid, because a lot of people feel like they can't do, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do that. I'm not creative at all. I can't do that. Well, I kind of think that most people are more creative than they realize. They just don't give themselves credit for it. And if I provide you with some simple designs, maybe that will encourage you to give it a try. That's all I can ask, right? So then I'm going to take this little brush again, and I'm going to just tap in. Again, this might work better if the center were a little bit drier. Doesn't really matter, but I'm just tapping in just a little bit of the tea berry so that there's just a little bit of color in the center, like that. Then I'm going to take my number 6 flat brush. I'm going to double load it with the greens. Now this one I'm just putting the paint on and then coming through, just coming off to the side here and doing the blending strokes. Again, at least 3/4 of the bristle full of paint. If you get too much paint on your brush, just wipe it off on a paper towel or your palette, whatever you have that you're using at the time. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to come up beside the little buds and just come up. I want them to show, but I'm going to come over here a little bit. And again, I'm going to look at it and see, I might actually create my design clear around there. Just not certain yet. Do this part first, but I want to make sure I cover the underneath paint, and then I'm going to do a little pull up like that. Alright, I'm going to move over here to the next one. Do the same thing. And it might be a little easier on a flatter surface, but that's okay. You can get the gist of it doing it on this stone. And I originally purchased these stones to create little houses on them, but haven't gotten to that point, so I guess I am giving a try with the flowers. And then I'm just doing like a little C-shaped design underneath. And this is going to be my little, I wanted more of the green on there. More of just how to attach the flower to a stem. And I come down here, do the same thing on this part. And I come up and around and out like that. And do the same thing over here. About. And it's okay if you pull some of the wet color in. It's perfectly fine. Alright, so I'm just doing a little, I guess I would consider that kind of a C shape in a sense. Maybe not completely a C, but kinda. Alright. I'm going to flip it back around. Now these are kind of close together, and I could have made this a little bit smaller, but it's okay. Your flowers can actually, touch into each other. It's alright. Alright, so I'm going to come up here. This is how I'm tying them together, is by putting some petals, some leaf petals up here. And it's kind of I don't have to do quite as much, but I'm going to pull a little bit of that down into the one below. Because in nature, your flowers are not all separated in a floral arrangement, are they? So when you kind of overlap a little bit, that's more of a natural look. Now you can take, I want to make sure it's not too thick, you can take your brush and just lightly put in little stems to attach, and that's fine. Now I'm not going to do this as if it has a stem that they're all attached to. I'm just doing it as though they're all like just attached in a bundle, if that makes sense. Okay, so then when you get into these, you can do maybe a little blending stroke. They don't all have to be the same. Come out like that. Oh, good. It finally stopped. Yay! I know it's so loud, and I apologize for that. I know it's not the best thing to have in the middle of your video, but I never seem to be able to miss that because I either have the air conditioning on or I have the furnace on. And then I'm just going to do another one. Just can make them even thinner too if you want. You don't have to be fat little leaves. They can be just little thin ones too. And again, on this particular stone, there's not a whole lot of room, so I might carry on over into the other part just to get the rest of the design that I wanted on here. Alright, so I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I wanted to put in a couple, let me clean this off, a couple little wiggle leaves, my favorites. And so if you follow my painting, you know that I really like these kind of leaves. Alright. I just want to make sure I'm getting good coverage. Yeah, sometimes it requires just kind of touching. The only thing bad about what I just did is that my stone will be sitting on that, and that's not good. And if I go off to the side, that's fine. I'm not going to concentrate on that one too much because I don't really want it on the bottom like I just did. Sometimes you get caught up in what you're doing and you forget. Not such a good idea. I'm going to try to make it a little bit littler, kind of swing it over this direction a little bit. And that way, hopefully, it will not go on the bottom where I want to sit it. We shall see. I'm going to put another little stem through here. Okay. You don't have to do a whole lot of these. You don't have to do a whole lot of anything, to be honest with you, as far as the leaves go. I like a lot of leaves. If you follow me, you know that already. I'm going to turn it this way. Now I can, trying to think, I can go off to the side here. I didn't really want to too much because I know that this side is not going to be seen. But I'm just going to do a little one over here just to add to this a little bit. I hope you like this video. I really do like painting on stones. Let me know down below if you've ever tried painting on stones. Are you a stone painter? I know there's a lot of people that do the ones for fun where they you know, put them around town, people find them, that kind of thing. And that always seems to be a good time. I know people really like that. Kids especially, they really get excited when they find them. We've actually found a few. And I have a few painted that I wanted to do that with, but I just never have. I was just kind of leery, but now I'm seeing more people doing it. That makes me feel more comfortable. I just don't want people thinking I was trying to litter. So I guess it wouldn't be litter, but it's kind of how it made me feel. Okay, so what I'm going to do over here, because I had some other, just some of your basic one-stroke leaves that I can pull from these little buds like that. So it's not going to be that that's going to be a great deal of painting over here, but I am going to do some painting. And you can actually take your brush and just kind of come over the edge with it. Doing some, you can do it like this. And come down in here. You even turn it if you think like it's not showing up well enough. It doesn't have to be. And you can actually come out around your little stems a little bit so that they're not just straight. But anyhow, I think that's good. Very pretty. I could see it sitting. Just think of that sitting on a shelf. Very pretty. Just another piece of way to show a piece of art, just very quickly, or not quickly, but just, you know, a conversation piece really. Alright, I hope you like this. If you do, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. New to my channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and before you leave, if you would share this video on your social network with all your family and friends, I would greatly appreciate it. I hope that you stay healthy and well, and until the next time, you have a good one.